It usually happens between 2 and 4 in the morning. They try to be quiet. They turn off the headlights. They put the truck in neutral to roll down the driveway. But if you are awake, if you are staring at the ceiling, waiting for it, do you hear the chain? It's the sound of the American dream being towed away. Right now, as you watch this, there is a fleet of trucks moving through the suburbs of Dallas, the driveways of Atlanta, and the parking lots of Los Angeles. They aren't looking for criminals. They aren't looking for tax evaders. They are looking for the Ford F-150s. The Kia Tellurides. The cars that regular people, your neighbors, drive to work every single day. For the last 2 years, we have been told the economy is strong. We look at the unemployment charts. Low. We look at the stock market. We are told everything is fine. But if everything is fine, why did 7 million Americans just stop paying their car bills? Sound design, a heavy, deep bass hit. The music kicks in, a slow, pulsing, investigative synth track. Something like the soundtrack to The Big Short, or Sicario, Punto. To understand why the repo lots are overflowing, we have to go back to a moment we all remember, but for the wrong reason. The world is reopening. You walk into a car dealership. You need a vehicle. Maybe your old one died. Maybe you just got a new job. But the lot is empty. The salesman points to a single sedan in the corner. It used to cost $25,000. Today? It's $40,000. Plus a market adjustment fee. You hesitate. It feels wrong. But the salesman smiles. He asks the only question that matters in the modern American economy. How much can you pay a month? It doesn't talk about the total price. It talks about the monthly payment. He stretches the loan to 84 months. 7 years. He gets the payment down to $600. You sign. You drive away. You feel lucky. Narrator, voice lowers, becomes more serious. You weren't lucky. You were the victim of a mathematical trap that is just now snapping shut. Fast forward to today. That car you bought for $40,000? The supply chain fixed itself. The chip shortage ended. That car is now worth $22,000. But you still owe $38,000. You are what the industry calls underwater. Deeply underwater. And usually, this wouldn't matter. They just keep driving the car until it's paid off. But then, inflation happened. Rent went up. Groceries went up. Insurance premiums doubled. Suddenly, that $600 payment isn't just an annoyance. It's a choice. Do I pay for the car? Or do I pay for rent? For millions of families, the math has finally broken. This crisis is different from 2008. In 2008, people bought houses they couldn't afford. In 2025, people are buying debt they can't escape. There is a term you need to know. It is the engine of this entire collapse. Negative equity. Here is how it works. Let's say you bought that car in 2021. You realize you can't afford the gas or the insurance anymore. So you go back to the dealer. You want to trade it in for something cheaper. The dealer runs the numbers. It tells you, I can give you $20,000 for your trade-in, but you owe $30,000 to the bank. You don't have $10,000 in cash to pay the difference. So the dealer says, no problem. We just roll it over. It takes that $10,000 of debt from your old car and adds it to the loan for your new car. Now you are driving a Honda Civic that costs $25,000. But you have a loan for $35,000. You are paying interest on a car you don't even own anymore. This is called the trade-in treadmill. And right now, 1 in 3 cars traded in has negative equity. The average amount? $6,000. There are people driving basic commuter cars who owe more money than the car is worth brand new. They aren't driving vehicles. They are driving rolling balls of compound interest. And eventually, the ball gets too heavy to push. This brings us to the most terrifying statistic in the current market. Usually, a repossession is a fight. The bank chases the borrower. The borrower hides the cat. It's a game of cat and mouse. But recently, something new started happening. The banks are getting phone calls. Borrowers are calling them. They are saying, "Come get it." It's called voluntary repossession. People are looking at their budget. They see a car payment of $1,000 a month for a Ford Explorer. They look at their credit score, which they spent 10 years building. And they are deciding to torch it. They are doing the math. If I give the car back, my credit is ruined for 7 years. But if I keep the car, I starve this month. It is a surrender. It is the American middle class waving a white flag. They are choosing survival over their credit score. And the banks? They are terrified. Because they don't want the car. The bank is not a car dealership. They are a financial institution. When you give them the keys, they have to sell the car at an auction. But remember, the car is worth less than the loan. When they sell it, they take a loss. A massive loss. Multiply that loss by 7 million borrowers. Suddenly, you don't have a car problem. You have a banking solvency problem. If you think this doesn't affect you because you drive a paid-off Toyota, you are wrong. Because this debt doesn't just sit in a filing cabinet. Used like in 2008 with mortgages, these car loans are bundled together. They are turned into financial products called auto asset-backed securities. Wall Street takes thousands of these risky, subprime car loans, wraps them up in a nice package, and sells them to investors. Pension funds buy them. Insurance companies buy them. Maybe even your 401k owns them. They bought them because they were told the returns were safe. They were told, Americans always pay their car note first. They need to drive to work. That was the golden rule of auto finance. You can default on your credit card. You can default on your house. But you never default on your right to work. That rule is dead. We's remote work. We's Uber. We's the sheer cost of gas. The car is no longer sacred. It's just another bill. And it's the biggest bill. So it's the first one to go. The delinquencies on subprime auto loans are now higher than they were during the peak of the great financial crisis. Let me repeat that. More people are failing to pay for their cars today than when the entire global financial system collapsed in 2008. We are walking on a bridge made of cracks. For 100 years, the car was the ultimate symbol of American freedom. It was the open road. It was Route 66. It was independence. Teenagers counted down the days until they could get their license. But look at the ads today. They don't sell you the car, they sell you the monthly payment. They don't sell you freedom. They sell you financing. We build a society where you need a car to participate. We build suburbs with no sidewalks. Cities with no trains. We made the car mandatory. And then, we allow the price of admission to become predatory. The repo crisis isn't just about people buying cars they couldn't afford. It's about a system that requires you to take on $30,000 of debt just to hold down a job that pays $40,000 a year. It is a tax on existence. And now, the tax is too high. The host is killing the parasite. The repo man isn't taking away luxuries. He is dismantling the workforce, one truck at a time. So, what happens next? There are millions of cars currently sitting in auction lots that no one wants to buy. The used car market is flooded. Prices are starting to crash. That sounds good for buyers. But it's a death spiral for everyone else. If used car prices crash, the value of your car drops. Which means you have more negative equity. Which means the next time you try to trade it in you can't. The trap gets tighter. The tow trucks are still running tonight. They are pulling Fords and Chevys out of driveways in your zip code right now. The banks are pretending this is just a little bump in the road. But if 2008 taught us anything, it's that when the little guys stop paying, the big guys eventually stop standing. The repo man has collected the cars. But who is going to collect the bill?